Hi, everyone. It is I, Amber. And once again, you are watching Philo. It is the 49th episode. Uh, is it all too much for Philo? And I would like to introduce my better half, Robin Fisher, who knows more about comics than I do. And we have like a whole professional meeting this week, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have up a script, and I'm gonna be great. And I don't have up my script. I'm not great. And like this morning's show did not turn out good at all. So Chuck's on vacation. And
Okay.
so originally he wasn't planning on having a show this week. And I'm like, well, I could totally do a show. I could host it, right? And he's like, sure, great. Well, I had co-hosting privileges. I did not have admin privileges. So admin privileges allows you to create an event and schedule an event and stuff like that, whereas co-host privileges just allow you to like host. And so 5 minutes before the show, he switched my privileges, but that required like canceling my old privileges and then giving me new ones. And so I was in this like weird limbo for the first 5 minutes of the show. So we didn't like start the show until like 10 minutes into the show, which, you know, for me, like Little Miss Tech Check, I'm like, ah. And it was supposed to be a show I was running. And
live and learn.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, I was all mad at myself, and I deserve better for me, and I didn't do that. We were going to have another artist on today, Steve Troop, but he informed me about an hour ago he was having some stomach trouble today, and so he won't be joining us. And so rather than like struggle through feeling bad and like trying to do my show and being a trooper about it, I'm like, you know, health comes first, and like you should feel better, and like be in chat. And like, you know, you can be in chat and help us write the story, and I will power through and draw. And so let's bring up my my board here, and we'll put it in the big window and everything. And so where we left off, I updated a bunch of stuff on my website too, by the way, over the last few days, but I don't know if I should like go into it because it's like not Philo related, but I did update a bunch of stuff.
This could be Amber Show and Tell.
It could be Amber Show and Tell. Okay. I'll show a little bit of stuff. So like in illustration, I got my Princess Naughty Pants character sheet kind of going on there. Here, let me do this, and I'll put it like kind of over, more in the middle like that. And then so that's Princess Naughty Pants. And then I have this was a commission that Dale commissioned of me, which is Circle of Iron, and he wanted cats. He wanted his cat Huey in the end scene of Circle of Iron, looking and seeing his reflection in the mirrored book of Circle of Iron. And so I thought, well, if Huey is in it, then all the people have to be cats.
Yes,
and so it just seemed like it was appropriate. And hi Dale. Yeah. Well, it, you know, again, Dale, that was for Dale right there. Okay. And then let's see, what else did I include? I got old Red Dahlia up. I got new Red Dahlia up. I combined my little short comics into one category, which is short comic stories. And so like Evolution, which is only 2 pages, Songbird, which is only 2, The Talk, which is only 3 pages. You can't hear well, Out with Sabrina. Okay, well, here, let me do this. Maybe this will help. And then the Build the Robot kit. This was a new one that I added. You can see This is Jesus toast. So it's like, here's a demon that here, let me do this. And so there's like this demon that's like rising up from the bottom, and then he's destroyed by Jesus toast. Yes, that's 8 seconds from the climax from Circle of Iron. Okay. Oh, okay. I guess he's leaving us. Bye, Dale. Yes, and then this, like you can see here, I have December 27th for all these like new updates. And then this was one that I did in my comic, like in my sketchbook. Like, so I added a bunch of these, comics that I did like in college. This one right here is about Sebastian, believe it or not, my puppet. And so there he is wearing a googly eye. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he literally tells me he's a golden god. I'm all seeing, all knowing, I am mighty and omnipotent because I have a third eye, but it's a googly eye. And that's, yeah, so it's like dreams are weird. Yeah, so like I added that comic, and then the Red Balloon is a little 2-pager about like this girl's kid talking about a red balloon at a carnival and buy that one, mommy, but she gets killed by a mugger like while the kid's talking. Yeah.
That's depressing.
Well, I talk about how like I was dealing with shit in college, and I put it out in my comics. I have a third eye. It's in a drawer somewhere. Yeah, exactly. And like Princess Naughty Pants in the Cold. This was informative one about how you want to dress in layers and stuff. And then The Great Adventure was my first attempt at watercolor, where I told a story about how during the Great Depression, my grandmother and my grandfather lived in a houseboat off of the coast of California, and they would go between California and Catalina Island and Angel Island and a few of the other islands off the coast of California and stuff. Well, what they were doing was smuggling in goods because there's an embargo on like Southeast Asia, that kind of led to World War II. And and so they were smuggling a bunch of like Japanese and like Korean goods and stuff into the country. And this is a story about how one time it was emus, and that's how they were like surviving, and they lived in this houseboat, and no one suspected this, this little family and this houseboat of smuggling in, these nefarious goods from Southeast Asia. And so so that one I added, and then I cleaned up a bunch of my archives, and then just kind of the end of show and tell before I get back to it. I added a bunch of stuff to the Life of Glitch archives. I added in here Life of Glitch at MCAD Comics, which were little college comics that I did of just kind of, while I was there. Like this one's Ninja Bag, about a bag that disappeared under a car. And then, this is me trying to find Zen. Yeah, this is me clawing my eyes out, researching stuff. Yeah. And I added a bunch of those comics, and then I organized all of this stuff, and I included an update on Glitch, which was an old comic I drew a long time ago. I have no idea exactly when I drew it, but it matches the art style of the chapter I put it in. So I think I drew it around then. And it's just like, I used to get these really bad stomach aches, and I started to eat better. I'm even going to the gym and going to bed on time. Adulting is hard, but we do it anyway. And so, hi, Mutant Fox. Oh, good. Riley and Cody are on. Excellent. And then yeah, so I had the that one, and then making comics again was when I did the Comics Northwest talk. I did this little drawing for that. And so I finally uploaded it. Finally got it up on my website, even though I did it like months ago. And yeah, and so that's kind of what I finally got all my experiments up, like on my website. Like I know it's all boring, just kind of like looking through the old stuff, but that's what I've been doing in silence. No one paying attention to anything that I do. But where we left off in the story, that's what the people came here to see, is where we left off in the story. So what do we all have to say to each other? Raphael said, this was Kay Kirsch's panel. Mm-hmm. And then last week we had Jeremy Fiscaldo. And so Jeremy Fiscaldo had Ed McMahon giving Bluto a check because that's going to bribe him. And this allows Nurse Ratchet Oil to tell her story, which is that all of that evil, terrible emotion that Philo had within him from earlier in the story that he ripped out was actually the oil puddle that Nurse Ratchet Oil fell into and got her oily powers from, and that she was also Bluto's ex, and that she's also Armand's ex. And then in that moment, the dog decides to attack Bluto. The Mushroom Rebellion arrives, and they take the dog away, and it's all too much for Philo. So we actually ended up ending on the end of a page, which is cool. And so what happens now? She says, stalling.
Well, my pop went down.
Help me out. Yeah, help me out, chat.
Let's see here.
Is the dog still there? Is the dog?
Well, yeah, he's the leader of the rebellion.
But is the dog completely carted away? Is the dog completely gone?
Well, are they taking them back to their planet?
Well, Magic Marmot says, I bring back the concept that Philo is being introduced to polyamory through trauma. Philo needs some time alone to process.
Yeah, okay. That's true.
Okay,
maybe he goes and rescues the dog, and then they leave together.
Well, okay. The dog didn't look like he needed rescuing. He seemed pretty happy to be taken off by that Mushroom Rebellion. But I think Philo's saying I need time alone. You know, I think that's legitimate. So
Armand, if you loved me, you would wait for me.
So wait, I need time alone, you know? I think Armand would know. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot to process. All right, so I think we can have I'm still having my I haven't rebooted my drivers, so I'm still having my driver issues from earlier. So my art's not going to be pretty. I don't have my pressure sensitivity because I forgot to reboot my machine. And so I have to reboot my drivers, so it's okay. I'm just been having that kind of day all day. I made pie and cookies today. Mm-hmm. Sounds good, right? Burn the pie, burn the cookies. Right? And I told you about my morning show.
Yeah.
Right? I've just been having that day. And my drivers went out on my Huion. Yeah. Arcadia Comics gets it. He knows. He knows. So yeah, so we're just gonna have Philo kind of do this. So it's not gonna be pretty, but it will get the job done. How are you, Miss Robin? How is it still crazy at work, or did it die down?
Oh yeah, today was weirdly dead. I didn't know what today was going to be like because New Year's is coming up, right? And that's a lot of party time. So
Yeah.
we'll see what tomorrow's like.
Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna have Armand reaching out a tentacle. Philo. You know. Yeah. Philo. Oh, it's okay. You can lurk. That's allowed. I won't stop you. Arcadia Comics is going to be our guest on May 3rd. So yeah, that is Randall Drew. I had to look at my sheet. I have a sheet that has all like my people on it and stuff. Yeah.
The epic list.
Yeah, but I'll do this, and he's going no. And we'll have him running out the door. Out of the studio. Let's see. Next frame, Armand understands but has a tear. Ratchet Oil in the background notices Armand. Let's see. Now let's draw Armand first in this panel. Yeah, we'll do this. So yeah, it's been kind of a cool year. I mean, Philo, I went from having like no one watching the show at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year, I got 6 people watching. Woo!
And one dedicated watcher on YouTube.
Yeah, and one dedicated watcher on YouTube. Thank you, dedicated watcher on YouTube. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate you.
You are dedicated.
Yeah. But yeah, somebody's been actually like checking us out on YouTube and stuff, and making sure that we're not like, I guess, doing nefarious stuff, but we're not.
We just talk about nefarious stuff.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about
like pockets.
What, pockets?
Yes, pockets are nefarious. Women aren't supposed to have them.
Do you know who got rid of the pocket in fashion? Hi, Tangent.
The man?
No, actually. The person who was responsible for getting rid of the pocket in fashion was Coco Chanel. And she did it to sell purses. She invented the clutch purse. And she did it because Coco Chanel invented the flapper dress. And the flapper dress, it was all about straight lines. Hi, Kate. The flapper dress was all about straight lines down the body. And so if you had pockets, it would ruin the lines of the dress. So what she did was she invented the clutch purse for women to hold their money and things in with the dress. And the clutch purse also had like a long strap on it that they could put around their shoulder to wear with the dress. But that came later. Originally, they were just supposed to clutch it. But yeah, Coco Chanel, blame her. Yeah, Hugo Boss too. Yeah, my artwork is not pretty tonight.
Armand looks great.
Well, I mean, knowing what I'm usually capable of, and then knowing what I'm capable of tonight, like, I just know that I don't have pressure sensitivity, and like, I'm like, oh, I could make this a more dynamic pose, but it's like, instead I'm limited to, Hugo Boss designed some amazing uniforms for the SS. Oh yes, definitely. Let's see. Have you ever thought about posting your original World of Glitch artwork on something like Instagram? What do you mean World of Glitch? Like the Life of Glitch stuff on Instagram? Um, I I know that Chuck has gone through and he took his pupil stuff and he posted it on Instagram where he broke up all the panels and stuff. I feel like if I did that, I would have to re-letter everything because my lettering is really sloppy. It's also the time to do that. Like I'm gonna have to get a job in the new year just to make ends meet. So it's I wish I could just spend time working on art. That would be nice. But girl needs to eat. Everyone understands that, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Dork, don't re-letter. Show what you have. Yeah, but my lettering's awful, and people would be like, "Wait, are like 6 of these words spelled wrong?" And I would be like, "Yeah, I have dyslexia." And they're like, "Well, why didn't you fix it before posting it?" And I would be like, you have a vast catalog of interesting work. That's true. I mean, I guess I could post my old stuff to like Instagram and be like, hey, to see more, check out my comic as like ads for my website. I don't know, maybe drawing people in. I don't know.
You could also call them work in progress or aged works that don't expect too much from them.
Yeah. Old works. Let's see. Yeah, let's do this. We'll put him in here. And Armand's going, no, don't. Yeah. And again, it's not the best drawing in the world. It's like Kay drawing with a mouse. You know?
That poor mouse.
Well, Kay did some pretty incredible work with the mouse. If Kay can draw on
the actual mouse.
Yeah, if Kay can draw on the show with a mouse, I can definitely draw with my drivers kind of acting up and stopping and starting every 2 seconds without my pressure sensitivity working. The vast majority of people are going to love the artwork. People that complain about the spelling and stuff can be ignored. They should do better things with their lives. You create. That's true. I do try and create. I do try. I mean, maybe the problem with like my website is I've like never advertised it. Like I've posted all this stuff to my website and like no one ever sees it because like I guess I don't ever tell anyone that it's there. And I'll occasionally update the front page and stuff and be like, hey, I added all this stuff, but I don't know how often people check the front page of my website. I'm sure they check my social media a lot more. And I don't know. It's just, again, it's like that time sink of when you are an artist in today's day and age, you can't just be an artist. You have to be, your own marketer. You have to be your own advertiser. You have to be your own, press agent. You have to figure out like what other people have done and maybe do it better than them. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Right-handed with a mouse. I'm a lefty. Yeah. Now you can post your catalog and provide a link. This is true. This is me encouraging you. Yes. You don't need to do that all at once. I like the shading on Philo. Oh, thank you.
Don't like Kay. You like the shading on Philo's butt.
Yeah, the shading on his butt.
Actually, it's too bad Dale's not here. He would wax poetic about Philo's butt.
Well, you know, he had his opportunity, but he wanted to go and have a life and spend time with his girlfriend.
That's fair.
So, you know, like I can't get mad
That's fair.
yeah. But he can always watch the episodes and I don't know. What I am going to start doing, I'm not going to do it this episode because this is the last episode of 2024. But what I am going to start doing in 2025 is at the end of each episode is I'm going to raid a channel. And so that's taking the viewers and going into somebody else's stream.
Yeah.
And dropping off those viewers. And so I'm going to start doing that in 2025. Again, I'm not doing it right now. It's something I need to announce.
Your plans.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and I need to come up with a list of people that I want to jump into their streams, you know? And
yeah,
like,
so you're prepared.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm more of a thigh man, says Magic Marmot. Yes, the butt shading is wonderful, says Kay. I've just wrapped up 2 cat sitting engagements today, says Kay. Also spent half the day with the Clatch, a group of female friends. We've been together for over 20 years. Good for you. Originally your writing group. Now we get together and shoot the shit. I'm a little tired. Sorry I can't help out drawing tonight. That's okay.
You're
That's
not okay in your tiredness.
That's okay.
You're not alone.
Well, I mean, the artists that I had planned, they literally let me know last minute, and they're like, you know, I don't want to bow out, but I just don't feel good. Like I've been, yeah, he got a stomach bug. He doesn't feel good, and so.
Speaking of your artist, wasn't that the guy that was doing your puppet? Did he show you any of your puppet?
Did I show you my update on my puppet? Did I show you my pup dates?
No.
He
Before you start though, I have to go get my coffee. It's I think it has arrived.
Well, that's okay. I still have Armand to clean up. So
alright, I'll be right back.
Alright, that's fine. I still have Armand to clean up going, Philo, don't leave me. Philo, I love you.
Don't leave me this way. Is that for you, Philo?
That's okay. We'll start off 2025 good. I'll have my drivers fixed. We'll have artists. I'll have promos. We'll be rating people's channels. It'll be good. Yeah, it'll be good all the way around. You're the only one I know who orders coffee delivered DoorDash. Well, but she's out in the boondocks. Like, yeah, and there's like, yeah. It's okay. It's okay. She can order coffee. She can have her coffee. Let's see. Let's see. Let's delete layer. Okay, duplicate layer. I'll just line up a couple of these. I'll go panel 2, panel 3, because I know I'm drawing them. So that's okay. We can do that. Let's see. And then what were we saying for this is that Armand wants to go with him, Nurse Ratchet Oil, spots Armand. That's what we were saying, something along that lines. I think Philo should have his moment alone. You know, he just needs a moment alone, right? We haven't given it to him. We followed Armand, we followed the dog, we followed Bluto, right? We need to see Philo and his thoughts, right? In his moment, like as he's like weighing everything. So I'm thinking like the caption should be something like Philo assesses his situation. You know, Philo weighs his options. Yeah, maybe we could literally decompress. I mean, visually decompress. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that you're a talented artist. I believe that you should show others that there's an audience, that they're among the weird folk like me, and you're already got it organized. If you don't take the risk, you'll never know. Is that how you spell decompresses? Ends up filling the entire room like an overinflated balloon. Well, what I was thinking of for decompresses is just like his feet would be like down here. Right? And then he'd be like, I guess he would have to like pop himself with a pin to decompress.
We could untie a knot at the bottom of his head and then like deflate.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking like wee. Philo becomes a sort of gelatinous mess, learns this as a superpower akin to ratchet oil. Yeah, but to watch them fight would be very boring. Because they just kind of...
And as a gelatinous mass, he'd be very slow, opposed to all ratchet oil's slick quickness.
Yeah, you see, okay, like the Blob, that was the one thing I didn't like about the Blob, was the inconsistency of the viscosity of the Blob.
I've got a Blob female monster.
He has an Instapot steam valve. You think he has an Instapot? See, I was thinking that he had like a needle that he like popped himself with. But you think he has an Instapot like little steam valve here that he like pops himself with? Like pop. And it's just wee.
Yeah, I like that. That's funny.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then he's just kind of collapsing there. Okay. Yeah, maybe he thinks of how much more fun he could have with Armand if he could ooze. You just want him to be polyamorous.
I'm sensing what's the word here? Not a motivation, but a mandate.
A modus operandi. MO.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Dale's got butt. Magic Marmot's got polyamory.
To each their own. There's worse things, I think.
I'm drinking a coffee for the first time in ever.
Like you've never had coffee ever?
Well, I don't really like coffee. Hi. Where are you going? Get out of there. What are you doing, Jenny? Show the world the game. Sit. 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 Yeah, you can bring on my feet instead of people. You're mine. My dog. Your dog. You're looking after too clearly. Yeah, well, sort of. It's like a restream where we do art in the post story.
Hi!
She was on it once. She contributed. Yeah, Caitlin. Close. Might as well close it now. Alright, the dog escaped and came running into my room. I was going to show you guys, but they took him away too fast. Oh, I like the deflation of Philo. That's perfect.
I'm gonna give him kind of a distressed face, though.
I like how he's two-dimensional. Yeah, no, I don't like the taste of coffee at all. But for some really weird reason, the Starbucks I was ordering from had no chai. So I got this creme brulee latte with one less shot, so it's not super coffee tasting.
You shouldn't force yourself to suffer on my behalf.
This thing has a ton of sugar in it, so I barely taste the coffee. And it's good. I'd rather be awake than asleep. I was really tired, and now I feel fine.
Okay.
Just a little bit of caffeine was enough.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see. We will do this. And then we will put you in panel 2. And then
I think Magic Marmot is right. Magic Marmot thinks we should cut to some other character like Dog, Armand, Oil, Bluto, or Cthulhu Shroom. And my vote is Cthulhu Shroom because we haven't touched base on him at all.
Well, would this be making him feel bad? Like all of this activity going on?
Cthulhu Shroom? I don't think he has feelings like regular people. Isn't he like an omnipotent god? Or is he just like a universe?
I don't know.
Or is he a dead godhead universe like in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Well, he brought Philo to his eye. So he has to have some kind of consciousness.
Oh, definitely. He does, but I don't think he has I think he's beyond feeling. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
It's like asking you to relate to Ant. He doesn't really.
Yeah, you can't even taste the coffee in those sugar up Starbucks drinks anyway, says Arcadia Comics. And then I think he'd be impressed on the dynamics of drama and maybe likes it. So maybe he's watching all this on TV because it is Sally Turtle Raphael. Because everything he sees exists in his eye.
Maybe it's like, have you ever seen, is it Google Box or Goggle Box? Google Box, the British show where it's like they just record British families watching TV, commenting on TV. And he's like on a couch and he's just sitting there watching everything unfold on his television.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was thinking is like, it just cuts to him and he's just like sitting there watching
eating
Sally
popcorn.
Turtle Raphael, at home, or maybe Cthulhu Shroom's like on his like Peloton or something.
Okay, yeah.
Like while he's watching TV,
wiping the sweat from his brow.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. We haven't done Cthulhu Shroom in a while.
Arcadia Comics is correct about this drink. It's like a creme brulee latte with salted caramel cold foam or hot foam, a gingerbread syrup, extra shot of creme brulee, So, like, yeah, when I was like first out of high school, my first job was at Starbucks, basically, and I used to like chug shots of espresso that were just doused in like hazelnut syrup or anything I could flavor it with that wouldn't taste like coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, anything else but coffee.
I don't know why I have such an aversion to it, but
Well,
we used to have to like Starbucks had this training that lasted like a month, and we'd have to like talk about the coffee we were drinking so we could like sell it to the customers. And I'd always be like, it tastes like dirt, and they were like, what's the consistency? Dirt. I hate it, coffee.
it's very, very dirty.
That's why I love those chai lattes, because it's like all those awesome spices, like the nutmeg and the cloves and the ginger.
See, I'm actually a fan of coffee, but I like it paired with chocolate.
Yeah, the mocha.
Yeah, I am not a fan of coffee by itself, and I'm not a fan of coffee with just like sugar or whatever. I like it paired with chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's my preferred coffee. And some people are like, "Oh, that's not even coffee. That's like hot chocolate." And I'm like, "Yeah."
No. It's coffee if there's coffee in it. It's a mocha.
Yeah. Well, that's the way that the Incas used to drink it.
With chili.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes, the whole experience of watching the drama become part of his fulfillment as a god. It becomes part of its lore and its worship, love, and more. Yeah.
I was so desperate for chai when I lived in China. I learned how to make it from scratch. But there was a lot of Middle Eastern culture there, actually. There's like a lot of Turkish people and a lot of Arabic people there doing trade and importing. So it was really easy to get like all the ingredients to be able to make it.
Did you boil the beans for a long time to get that like sour flavor?
Pie. It was no coffee in it. It was just a chai.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I meant the leaves. Did you boil the leaves for a long time to get that like sour flavor?
No, I just put in black tea bags.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But everything else was from scratch. Like I boiled all the spices in hot water for a while. Yeah, the tea was the only thing I didn't make from scratch.
Mochas are awesome. The darker the chocolate, the better. Yes, Arcadia Comics, we agree. Philo lore, we need a deep dive YouTube video. Dang it, I missed how you warped the Wii. Oh, you missed how I warped the Wii? Oh yeah, I did a whole warpy Wii thing. I can rewarp a Wii if you want me to add another Wii to warp.
Is it just vectoring? Is it called when you change the?
No, what I did was I made a text layer, and I just went wee on the text layer, and then what I did is I flattened that text layer. So I made a not a vector layer, but a raster layer from that, right? So it's no longer a text layer. Mm-hmm. And then that was the layer I warped. And so I went in with my little warpy tool, and I just
and then you went Wii. You went Wii on the Wii.
Yes, I went Wii on the Wii. Indeed. Yes. And what was really funny is when I was talking about, well, I could rewarp the Wii, is I was thinking of the Willy Willy Whaley song from The Court Jester with Danny Kaye. If you've ever seen it. If you've never seen that movie, then you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I always intend to see that movie because I really love Danny Kaye, and I've seen about 5 of his movies now. But I've not seen The Court Jester.
It is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. It is so tight of a script. Every character has unique motivation and Angela Lansbury is in it. It's just really good. And I don't want to give anything away. Let's see. I'll watch it back later. If it's Photoshop, there's a right-click option for that. But yeah, if it's the raster, you can go in and warp that ship. Flagon with the Dragon. Yes, the Flagon with the Dragon has the brew that is true, and the Chalice with the Palace has the pellet with the poison. Until the Chalice with the Palace breaks, and then that's when they bring out the Flagon with the Dragon. And yes, it's the Chalice with the Palace has the brew that is true, and then it's the wait, no, I have it all wrong. The Flagon with the Dragon comes out later, though. Yes, great movie. I loved Mr. Wonderful, and then the Flagon with the Dragon. Yes. Yes. Anyway, I digress. We were gonna do Cthulhu Shroom watches. Yeah, all that Cthulhu Shroom exists within his eye. So,
well, I grew up with Hans Christian Andersen, so that's one of my favorite Danny Kaye movies. But the other one that I really loved, and I always forget the name of it, is this one where he plays a music professor in a house of other professors, and this gangster's mole has to hide out with them. It's Virginia Mayo. And Danny Kaye plays like this total nerdy, schlubby guy. Oh, not schlubby, sorry, just really nerdy kind of music professor, and they fall in love, and it's really awesome and sweet.
Aww.
But I always forget what that one's called. It's with Virginia Mayo, so it'd be really easy to find out.
Yeah, you know, that's just a quick IMDb search.
And then, of course, you know, he was in the Cosby Show. That was really weird. One of their doctors.
Yeah.
Like the family doctor. That was funny.
Well, he,
but yeah, he's very talented.
I think he was one of Cosby's mentors. And you know, because he was in later on in years and stuff like that when Cosby was up and rising through stand-up. And I think Danny Kaye kind of did this about writing with him. And yeah, and so it doesn't surprise me to know that Danny Kaye was on his show. So let's see. We'll do the back of the TV. We'll do an old school TV. And then
like the Archie Bunker TV.
Yeah, and then we'll have Cthulhu Shroom up here. Yeah, it's just like drawing with a thick pen, you know, because I don't have the pressure sensitivity, but the driver's also causing it to start and stop every now and then. So it's okay. I'll fix it. We'll do this. And then I think Cthulhu Shroom lives in a giant space trailer.
Nice. Like in Spaceballs? Like a big Winnebago?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm picturing. You know, something like that. Yeah. Again, that's kind of what I'm picturing. Let's see. Does he have posters on the wall?
Yes.
If there's room for the posters, he will.
Put an X-Files poster on the wall.
That he should have an X-Files poster?
Yeah.
Because everything he sees exists within
the truth is out there.
Well, X-Files is a pretty cool show. I used to watch
it. It is. I'm not mocking X-Files. I just think it's hilarious that a Cthulhu god would have an X-Files poster. Out of everything he could be watching. Or maybe Supernatural. He watches Supernatural.
Charmed. A Charmed poster. Buffy.
That'd be good too. Yeah, Buffy would be pretty funny.
Let's see. I want to believe, but all you see is the I want to be. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. So, okay. So we have the little spaceship right here. And it's the I want.
You should also. He should have like a Hellboy action figure somewhere too.
Okay, and then I don't know if I'll have room for it. I still have to kind of draw him in. Like I said, my
God.
Yeah, my pen's kind of acting up, so it's not working with me very well right now.
I discovered something interesting the other day about Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
What's that?
Well, I've watched it 80 billion times, but this was the first time watching it where I knew certain things, like that he came up through the scenes with, what's her face, Elvira, and Cassandra Peters, I think her name is, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're watching the scene where he's knocked over all the motorcycles, and they want to kill him, right? They're like, let's kill him. No, let's, hang him and then kill him. No, let's quarter him and cut him up into tiny pieces, then hang him and then kill him. And then suddenly this woman appears with red hair going, why don't you leave him with me? And I was like, is that Elvira? Is that Elvira? And I IMDb'd it, and it was totally her. And I was like, I had no idea until now, which I thought was pretty cool.
Aw. Well, I mean, weren't they friends?
Well, yeah, they came up through the ranks together. They were buddies because they started at the same time, and they supported each other. Obviously, he put her in his movie, and she did stuff with him too. Just like Phil Hartman. I mean, Phil Hartman co-created a lot of Pee-wee stuff, so he shows up every so often in the shows.
Phil Hartman was not the head writer, but he was in every writing session for like the first 2 years of Pee-wee's Playhouse. And the only reason why he left was because of SNL.
Yeah, no, I know. He helped co-create the whole Pee-wee thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, he, at the time that he was working on Pee-wee's Playhouse, he was still selling cars. Like, yeah, it's crazy, Phil Hartman's story. Let's see. Text is under the UFO. Never mind. Yours is better, Peterson. Well, yeah. I mean, I know it's all under the UFO and stuff. That's fine. But I'm doing a.
He's running out of space.
I'm doing a. It's the Cthulhu Shroom version. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and the other thing I learned this week is that Phil Hartman actually used to do album covers for 70s rock bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a graphic
I was like,
designer.
we were just talking about him. Who was I was just talking about him with? And I thought it was you, but I guess it was my brother, because, yeah.
Yeah, he was a graphic designer, too. Which is like, yeah, Phil Hartman, woo! Yeah, Terry Crews is another creative person that you wouldn't expect to be an artist, but is. And like he would go to like the draft, right? And not make the draft. Walk back into the locker room with the guys that did and be like, does anybody want a painting? And that's how he kind of made it for a while as an artist. Is he sold paintings to people that were in the NFL that, like, he played with, but because he wasn't nearly as good as them, he didn't play in the NFL as long. Yes, Phil Hartman was killed by his wife. Yes. Yeah. She had been sober from cocaine for over 10 years, and Philip Dick got her addicted to it again at a Christmas party.
Andy Dick?
I'm sorry. Sorry, you're right. Andy Dick got her addicted to it again at a Christmas party. And Phil Hartman probably had a conversation akin to like, we can't do this anymore. You know, we got sober together. And he took some cold medicine, went to bed, and she shot him in the head. He didn't have anything in his body but cold medicine. And then she killed herself. So yeah, that's how we lost Phil Hartman. But Hollywood blames Andy Dick for it. And I kind of feel rightly so, because she had been sober for over 10 years. You know, and hadn't had it in her life. See, if they were poly, they could have left that behind them. What, the cocaine? No, I think the cocaine was probably like spending too much on it, like it ruining their life, making them act out kind of stuff, and he probably didn't want that aspect in his life. Oh, the argument. I don't know. I don't think poly solves every problem. I think that there are some people that use polyamory as an excuse to just be bad partners in general. And so they'll be like, no, babe, I'm polyamorous. That's why I treat you that way. Right. And it's like, they're not acting with respect to any of their partners. They're just using it as an excuse to fulfill their own sexual desires and nihilism, right? Hi, Mr. Teague. Some people feel jealousy and can't accept polyamorous relationships. There's that too, but I think that with anything there's communication. Right? And so it's not necessarily about like the acceptance of the polyamorous relationship so much as it is how everybody is acting within that relationship with each other. Right? So if you have two people in a relationship and one person says, I'm polyamorous, and they're having relationships outside the relationship, but they're not sharing their polyamory with the people outside of this relationship, is that fair to the people outside the relationship that they don't know they're in a polyamorous relationship? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? That's not being fair to either partner. Yeah, uncontrolled jealousy, that is. Oh no, poly emphasizes problems. Absolutely, without proper communication, no relationship can be healthy, not even a friendship. But every non-toxic poly community I've seen also promote support networks and therapy. Yes, exactly. And so I have no problems with polyamory as long as everybody's on the same page and everybody's in communication with each other about what their situation is, right? And polyamory is not my thing. I have a heart that belongs to one person, right? That's my personal thing, right? But it's like a cis couple not being gay, right? It's not their thing, right? It not having a problem with it, right? I don't have a problem with it. It's just not my thing. Yeah, but every non-toxic poly community, absolutely, polyamory requires full disclosure and agreement with partners. No, that's just cheating without consent, regardless of relationship style, is cheating. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So where we left off was Cthulhu Shroom is watching everything on TV. What happens now? let's figure out what I'm drawing for the next half hour, and then we can continue our wonderful discussion about polyamory because it's interesting.
Does Cthulhu's room, is he in control of what's happening around him? Is he making them do this stuff, or is he just sitting back and watching for giggles? Because if he's got control over them, then maybe he's got like a secret plan that he's doing that you could talk about.
I don't
But
know.
if he's not in control,
Eldritch gods always seem to me that like they bring madness, but they don't necessarily have control of the madness they bring. They just kind of bring it.
okay. Fair.
No, he's letting them. My view of polyamory is that my theoretical partner was interested in it. They could be with another partner. However, I don't think I'd be interested in another partner. I don't mind sharing my partner with their other partner, however, but my sexuality is closer to ace, I suppose. He'd put them in a situation like a reality TV show. Well, they're already on a talk show. They're already on like an afternoon talk show. And Philo's like, I need a minute, and then he decompresses, and then we cut to Cthulhu's room.
But if Cthulhu's room's putting them into situations, then he has the power to put them in a new situation.
So
even though Philo has run away, he has no control over where he's going. And then that actually adds a really interesting layer to the whole mushroom revolution, because they do have control over where they're going and what they're doing.
let's see. He'd put them in a situation like a reality show. Ace is good. That sounds like a possible poly relationship tangent.
Okay, so what if he changes the channel?
And then it changes everything. So then all of a sudden,
But
they're
we're
already
not close to an ending.
No, we're not.
Yeah. So let's see. I feel like Philo needs
But I like
to
that idea because that would change everything. It'd be kind of exciting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like right now they're in a talk show, and then we switch in it. It becomes like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Because I mean, they're already acting out a telenovela, so I don't think we should go there.
Yeah. Yeah, suddenly they're fighting xenomorphs or something.
Yeah, like they would be funny. And then, you know, they might grow to understand each other a little better as they fight together and bond through more trauma.
Suddenly he was hit by a bus. I think
like the movie Stay Tuned.
yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe Philo calls out to Cthulhu's room, help me. I don't know.
That's a good idea. Those two in communication together. That's a whole new ripple.
You know, of going like reaching out to the elder god, the Twilight Zone. Well, I mean, isn't he already in the Twilight Zone?
I think it'd be interesting if Philo's the only one that can talk to the Eldritch God, while the other ones are like, who the hell are you talking to? What's going on?
Yeah, might have been an episode. Let's see. So, format. So Armand was going, Philo, don't leave. Philo needed a minute. He decompressed. We cut to Cthulhu's room. Narration
Maybe,
by Rod Serling.
Suddenly I have an image of Philo and Cthulhu's room sharing ice cream.
Well, Philo did experience Cthulhu's room's consciousness. I kind of like the idea of Rod Serling just narrating it out of nowhere.
That's funny. You know, I like absurdity.
Yeah, I do kind of like that of Rod Serling wraps things up. I don't know. Should he wrap things up or should he just like address things. Because he always was at the beginning of an episode or the end of an episode. You know, you never saw him in the middle.
Do you want to start wrapping things up? Because as Magic Marmot mentioned, does there need to be an ending right now?
Well, I don't know. I got 25 minutes.
No, but I just mean, does the story need to end right now? Do we need to start a new story? Do we need to?
Let's see. We have to give him his cigarette.
Because didn't Rod Sterling also show up in the middle sometimes?
No, not
Never?
really.
Oh, okay.
There was like one episode I can think of where he showed up in the middle, and it was awkward. And they did it like the first season, and they never really did it again because it didn't really work.
Okay.
Like Rod Serling worked really well as a bookend for the story, because it's like you're entering the Twilight Zone, you're leaving the Twilight Zone, right? You know, whereas when he's in the middle, and again, like the first season, they tried like 1 or 2 episodes of him being a guide in the Twilight Zone, and it didn't really work. Let's see. Philo plops into Cthulhu Shroom's lair, address things, and then they got ice creams, or so it goes. Twilight Zone opening about Philo dropping into Cthulhu Shroom's living room, beginning and end. Let's see.
I think that the audience resoundingly wants Philo to have ice cream with Cthulhu Shroom. I think that's pretty clear.
Okay. I have to look up a picture of Rod Serling. I realize I don't know what he looks like. Like, I see him in my mind. I see him in my mind, but like it's like a bicycle that I can see in my mind, right? Do I really know what Rod Serling looks like?
He's a dude in a suit.
He's a dude in a suit with cigarettes. That's all I know. Eyebrows, hair, yeah, and a big nose. Yeah, we'll kind of put him there, and then what we'll do is we'll have Rod Serling wraps things up, and then what was the kind of stuff that he said? Besides here in the Twilight Zone, he would say, you know, imagine a man, right? Imagine a Philo who's had too much, who's dealt with
deflates himself, and found his desire of ice cream brings him into another dimension. I've actually never watched a single episode of the Twilight Zone.
If you ever do, you're in for a treat.
Vaguely scary stuff is hard for me.
Have you ever seen the original?
I started watching Black Mirror, and I found that so depressing.
Well,
like,
Black
it was
Mirror,
really hard to watch.
Have you ever seen the original Star Trek?
Yes.
It's in the same vein as the original Star Trek. Okay, they're like spooky ghost stories, but they're not scary.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you won't be like, that frightened me, and it's gonna haunt my dreams, right? Especially being an adult watching it. If anything, it'll be a little like hokey to you because it's 1960s little spooky ghost stories. But
didn't Jordan Peele do the new season? Didn't Jordan Peele do a new season of it?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, see, that's why I was afraid. Oh, I posted this on Facebook, but I'm going to mention it again because it annoyed me so much. I was watching like this sort of like thing about the Eurythmics, and I got so angry because apparently when she did her video for Love is a Stranger, she wore like a long blonde wig because, of course, Annie Lennox likes to challenge gender roles and what people think women should look like and what men should look like. And BBC was so convinced that she was like a cross-dresser, they made her show her birth certificate so they would, if they wanted the Eurythmics to have their video played on the BBC. Which made me angry, so angry. And then in retaliation, she went full male drag when she attended the 1984 Grammy Awards and sang Sweet Dreams.
You know, I think it's funny. Like you watch old episodes. You watch old interviews with David Bowie, and they're like, you know, well, you've talked about being bisexual, but are you really bisexual? And he's like, yeah, I'm bisexual. And they're like, but yes, but are you really? And he's like, yeah. Next question.
They did that to Anna Paquin. She was on Larry King, and he's like, so you're a non-practicing bisexual, and she's like, no, I'm still bisexual. And he goes, but you're married, and she's like, yes, I'm in a monogamous relationship with my husband, and what does that have to do with my sexuality?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still bisexual. That doesn't end.
I had that conversation with my mom when Ian and I got together. She was like, "Oh, so you're done being bisexual now?" And it's like, no, this is my partner.
Yeah.
Just happens to be male. Could have been female. Could have gone that route.
Well, the one that opened my eyes to that is Roberta Gregory. You know, like, she's the premier lesbian cartoonist, period. And she, you know, was always a strong advocate for women's rights and LGBTQ rights. But she, for the last 10, 15 years of her life, had been with a man. And I always was just like, I don't get it. But, you know, like, I really applaud her for challenging the way I think, because it is honestly, bottom line is, it's, you fall in love with who you fall in love with. Gender shouldn't really have anything to do with it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of advocates for LGBTQ plus rights that aren't LGBTQ plus, like the writer of Animorphs. You know, that woman, she will fight tooth and nail for any trans kid. Right? And she does that because when she was writing those books and stuff, she just had a lot of trans kids come up to her and say that her books spoke to them because they wish they had
what
the ability.
The hell is wrong with J.K. Rowling? Like, what the hell, man? Like, that just blows my mind. That makes me angry too. Because it's like so much damage you can do, and the craziest thing is you wrote those books for people that are outsiders. You know what I mean? Like, when you read those books, it's all about being an outsider and wanting to be accepted for who you are. Yeah. And it's just like, oh my god, you really did a disservice to your audience, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Good for the writer of Animorphs, though. I really applaud her for that.
Yeah, and the thing is like, Animorphs, you know, it's not Shakespeare, but
but lots of kids love it.
Well, it is sound YA young adult writing, right? You know, it's sound like, you know, coming of age stories about kids having to do responsible things for the first time in their life, and you know, and like taking on, like, you know, heavy responsibilities and stuff. But there's like some heavy stuff in those Animorph books. There's like PTSD and like torture and, you know, all kinds of stuff. There's one kid that's a hawk that because of his PTSD, because he was tortured as a human, never becomes a human again. He decides, I'm a hawk from now on. Right? But the thing is he's not a hawk. He's a human. Right? He's a human boy. He has a human family. He has parents that miss him. Right? And even though he's visiting his family in the book, right, and checking on them as a hawk, that's not the same thing as being there. And he's seen them put up wanted posters for him, or, you know, like lost posters for him. Right? And he's doing this to his own family because he's petrified of becoming human again. Right?
Makes sense. Like no, but I mean, that's how kids deal with trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
I think one of the books that should be accoladed now, because I read it before I read Harry Potter, and it did come out before Harry Potter, and it was really good. It was called So You Want to Be a Wizard.
Yeah.
And it's about how like this girl is getting bullied, and she runs into a library to escape, and this book just falls in front of her, and that's the book. So You Want to Be a Wizard, and it's all about how like as a wizard, your words are so powerful. You have to be really careful about what you say because you're creating life and creating death and spells and energy. And the stories are so interesting. Like on the second book, she gets asked for help by whales, and so she becomes a whale. And in the book, she lives as a whale to help these people figure out what's wrong with their with the planet that they need help on. In another book, her younger sister becomes a wizard, but her sister's obsessed with like computers. So like her spells are all like nanotechnology, and it's really fascinating. The main enemy in this series is entropy, decay, because the main power is to create life. So obviously the opposite, decay, is like the evil villain. And it was a really good series, so well written. I'd be curious to know what that author thinks about trans kids.
Let's see. Good point. Dan, that's a fucking thing to do to her. Let's see. Good point. Even had her male hero Harry break into the girls' restroom for plot and the polyjuice potion. I agree. Love doesn't follow gender boundaries. Think of loving your kids or pets. Sex isn't love, but it's been so ingrained into our society that they must be coupled in this particular context of life partner. Rowling isn't writing for outsiders. She is writing for cliches. Harry Potter is akin to some nerds, the exclusionary nerd who refuses to accept other people as nerds. There's a cliche. Sounds great.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean, she wasn't coming up with anything brilliant, and in fact, she kind of owes quite a bit to Neil Gaiman for her characterization of Harry. But the thing that I found that was and I've read a lot, and I don't look almost 50, but I am almost 50, so I've been around a long time, and I've been reading since I was like 4. That was the first time I read a book that aged as the reader aged. So like if you read the first book, right, it's kind of written to like 12, 13-year-old kids. And then as the books as Harry gets older, the writing to me got more mature and the storytelling got more mature. And of course you get more content. And that was the first time I'd read anything like that. And I thought that was pretty interesting because I was very anti-Harry Potter for a long time because I'm one of those annoying snobby people that it's like when everybody tells you should love something, I'm going to avoid it. And I remember,
contrarian.
Yeah, I'm contrarian. I freely admit it. But I remember that book was the reason why it was so popular so fast is because Oprah Winfrey put it on her book of Oprah books, and then like that was it. Like all the Midwest women in the world had to get that book, right?
Well, that's
another reason why I was anti. No, she really had a hand in making it more popular to mainstream America.
I was gonna say that was after it was already put on banned book lists and stuff because it was about witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Here in the United States. And then when Oprah said it was okay, then it was okay for kids to read.
Dale has a really good point about For Better or For Worse. He says that it aged in real time too. It did. Yeah. That wasn't exactly my point. It's more like my point is that the writing evolved with the age of the reader it was intended for. It seemed. That's how it seemed to me. And I was quite impressed with that. And so I kind of hopped on the bandwagon by I think the 5th book. But yeah, I'm pretty well versed in For Better or For Worse. I'm a total huge nerd that when Farley passed away, I actually had a black armband on my arm.
That's the dog, right?
Yeah, that was the dog. And it was such a tragic story too because he was saving the life of a 2-year-old girl. She fell into a creek and she was drowning, and he jumped in and saved her, but didn't make it himself. And there's a famous story where Charles Schultz said, "If you kill off Farley, I'll kill Snoopy."
Well, yeah, it's did you ever watch Married with Children?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Do you remember when Buck died?
No. Who's Buck?
Buck was the dog.
Oh, the dog. Oh, right. Who looked like Farley? Wasn't he a sheepdog? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a sheepdog too, yeah.
Buck when the show started, was already a 6-year-old dog. And so the show was going on, and then the show lasted for 7 seasons. So by season 5, Buck was pretty old and couldn't make it up the stairs anymore to get up to the second level. And so they still needed the character of Buck, but they couldn't. It was time to retire the dog. And so what they did is they had this whole thing where, Buck, because Buck hated living with the Bundys, right? And so Buck knew it was his time, and he's like, maybe I'll have a better life this time and everything like that. But when he comes into his new life, he's the puppy that the Bundys pick out. And he's like, no! So they still had the same voice actor doing Buck the dog. But
Nice.
it was the new puppy,
Yeah.
still remembering everything of being Buck. Yeah, I love the series. She went publicly turf after the publication. Yeah, I remember Buck. That is a true story. I met Lynn Johnston. Yeah.
I've met her too, and I've wanted to interview her forever because growing up, Michael was the same age as me, and he lived in a town in Ontario, and I was living in Toronto at the time, and I just felt like our families were almost exactly the same, living the same life. And so much of what Michael went through, I went through. And it's really weird reading it because it's like a parallel universe that's part of my life. But I have heard stories about her, and she doesn't suffer fools gladly, and I just don't want to upset her by asking the wrong questions. So I have met Liz Johnson as well, but I've never had the guts to interview her. Kind of like interviewing my mom. Like I couldn't do it.
You couldn't interview your mom?
No. I mean, I did it once for some project in school, but it wasn't like a real serious, let's talk about your career interview. She was kind to me because I wasn't part of her field, right? But
yeah.
Like I said, I know people that have worked for her, and she's got a reputation for being a bit of a tyrant. But now she has a disease. I think it's called Estonia. So she hasn't been drawing hardly at all in the last few years.
Lynn Johnson?
Yeah.
Does she have somebody else drawing the comic for her?
She had what are they called? Not apprentices, but
assistants.
Assistants, yeah, helping her quite a bit. But I don't think she's drawing anymore. Oh, Kitty's and an Ian walking by. I saw Kitty's and an Ian.
Yeah. I know that Greg Evans did the same thing with his daughter. His daughter, I want to say, took over the writing of the strip. I think Greg still draws it.
Gail says that Lynn wrapped everything up after her husband left her. Magic Marvin said, I tried to interview my mom once, audio recording only. Unfortunately, she needed the TV on all the time. Oh, Mom. Can't live with them, can't kill them.
Yeah. Let's see. Vibrant conversations tonight. Yes, I would love an original FBOW strip. And then I tried interviewing my mom once. Yes, audio recording. That's the one that you just read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, is really revolutionary too, because she was the first strip to have a gay comic book character in the paper, and she lost a lot of business because of that. But she dealt with it so kindly and humanely that a lot of people really look up to her for that.
Well, I mean, the same thing happened with Schultz when he introduced Franklin.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of business too, but he's like, no, it's time for us to grow up as a people and just have, black characters in strips.
They're here. We should include them.
Exactly. And so she did the same thing, only she did it for, for gay characters. She's like, hey, there's, these people exist. Let's talk about them. Right. Yeah, we got 5 minutes, by the way.
Canadian comics. Cleaning comic strip, for better for worse. That's one of my comics journal reviews. For some, I got pegged to do 2 online reviews. So I did one on China Collection Major, and I did one on the Lives Behind the Lines, which was like a compendium of For Better for Worse with like a lot of the history within the book. So yeah, those are 2 articles that I've done for the Comics Journal. I've done many more, but that's a couple ones. I don't know about your new fez, Dale. I've only seen the top hat. That was the latest new headwear I saw. Headgear.
Yeah, or Gasoline Alley aged in real time. Did you tell Robin about my new fez? No, I did not tell Robin about your new fez.
Is it like an actual like fez with the little
yes, it's a real fez. Yes, he invested.
Nice.
Yeah, it has a skull on it.
Why? Why does it have a skull?
Because during the Victorian age, Victorians used to put skulls on things to remind them they will die someday. And so it's a mortem something, and that's why there's a skull on it. It's a Victorian symbol.
Memento
Mori. Yes. Lynn says she used a lot of reference. And then in writing, I usually have gender roles in mind for the characters. Once I write it, I give the characters gender swapped names, and it lets me break out of stereotypes.
Well, lots of comic book artists do that all the time. What's his name? Adrian Tomina, the guy who does Optic Nerve, who is this tattoo artist, or this artist right here.
Yeah.
He always does that, where he, like, half his stories are from the perspective of a female, but they're really his stories. He just doesn't want to always be a male. And, all the stories be male-oriented.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of do that sometimes, too, where sometimes I will tell a story from the perspective of a guy, but it's something that happened to me, or I originally wrote it with like a girl in mind, and then I decide to switch to the gender. So I don't think it's an uncommon thing that people do. Yeah, just trying to kind of work on this panel a little bit. I guess I could work on the other ones.
I like it. But they're eating popcorn, not ice cream. I thought they have ice cream cones.
No, they're eating.
Oh, it's in a bowl?
Yeah, no, it has chocolate syrup on it.
Oh, okay, they're sharing.
Yeah.
Cthulhu's
See,
Shroom
they're
is awesome.
sharing.
I love Cthulhu's Shroom. I wish we could make an action figure of Cthulhu's Shroom.
Well, when Zach's on the show, we could talk to him about it. Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of people. Ooh, wait. I got 2 minutes. So let me start new habits that we are gonna have for starting next year.
Yes, New Year. Yes. And so
new habits. So new habit is the guest that we're going to have next week is going to be Teague Tysleen, who happens to be in chat right now. Hi, Teague. And so Teague Tysleen is going to be our guest artist. He's a cartoonist, caricaturist. He says canine conditioning coach, but he does so much more than that. He's just really, really talented artist that I've known for a long time. Going to be on
like 5 C's.
Yeah,
canine conditioning coach, cartoonist, and caricaturist.
Awesome. I think Teague did that on purpose when he sent me the information, of like, I'm gonna send her alliteration, and so so the canine conditioning coach and stuff, and so Saturday 104, that is next weekend, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so twitch.tv/artglitch. Mr. The Teague at Instagram, if you want to check out Mr. The Teague's work. And Mr. The Teague, you can see right there, is also in chat. Hi, Mr. The Teague. So
we are the third eye in the art, just like your puppet.
Yeah. So we're going to have Mr. The Teague on next week. as our artists. So that's going to be awesome. And then we are also going to, I said, and I swear I'm going to do this, we're going to raid. We are going to raid. Yeah, alterations are appreciated. No, absolutely. And then let me do my end credits, and I'm going to keep Robin and I up for the raid this time around. Amber Greenlee, that's me, panel2panel.com. That's my website, captaint.keenspot.com. That's also my website, patreon.com/artglitch. That's my Patreon, twitch.tv/artglitch. That's what you should be watching right now. And then youtube.com. That is where all of this is kept. If you like to catch up on Philo, you can catch up there. Oh, Amber, job suggestion. The post office is actually actively hiring. If you have a car, you could probably do rural mail carrier. Oh, thank you. I will consider that. So what I am going to do right now is we are going to raid. We're going to raid. What are we going to raid right now?
How do we do that?
I'm doing it.
Okay.
Me. I don't know who I'm going to raid right now.
How do you find someone to raid?
Let's raid. Is there anyone I'm following? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna raid Burning Clock Studios with your 12 people. Okay. All right, here we go. We're raiding.
Raid.
Yeah. So those. Okay. So it says Mod Action, Art Raid, Burning Clock Studios. Yeah, raid now. Woo! We're raiding. Okay.
Good night, Tangent.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. I'm going to close out the windows. Have a good night, everybody.